Welcome back. It's time for Money Monday now that we are in our second year of new tax programs. How do you know you're really taking full advantage of them for your situation?
Here with some advice is Jeff Vogan from Premier Retirement Planning and Wealth Management. We're going to be talking about these tax programs. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
So year 2 of these tax programs, again, some people might be having some mixed feelings as to how they're working for them. Go over some of the basics of what we should know.
Well, some of the people that used to itemize taxes and get a little extra deductions beyond the exemption are probably not very happy. That typically happens with people in kind of a middle class income, unfortunately. However, the people in that were paying a little bit more in taxes than probably they needed to are going to save. The people that really can benefit right now, in my opinion, are the retirees or the pre-retirees. People that we help in general are really seeing some huge benefits by the Trump tax cuts. I mean, whether you like Trump or not, it's the tax cuts are working for the right situations. And the main thing is that they're only here for 6 more years, 7 if you count the end of this year, so there's only a little bit of time to plan. But there are some things that people can do to pay taxes at a lower rate. The bottom line is the tax brackets have come down for the next 6 or 7 more years.
Let's talk about a broader spectrum, though. You know, people who are in the middle class, people who are in the lower class. How do they take advantage of some of these?
Well, the best way to take advantage is not necessarily say, what am I saving this year, but what can I save in the future? And of course, we call that planning. Tax planning is one of the pillars of planning that we focus in on in our overall retirement roadmap plan. The taxes, for example, since tax rates are lower now, it may be smart to pay taxes now at a lower rate rather than pay taxes later. And what I mean by that is many people are so bent on putting as much money into their 401ks and in their IRAs as they can to get a tax deduction right now, that they're not thinking about the future when they might be in a higher tax bracket in retirement and have to take that money out at a higher rate later. People who are only a few years out from retirement have a very small window where they can actually move money out of IRAs and 401ks, pay taxes at a lower rate right now, maybe convert to a Roth IRA, for example, and then never pay tax again on that money. Now, when you said middle class, I'm going to give you an example of my son, who happens to be a CPA. Very smart CPA, worked for Deloitte, Big 4 company. Comes home right after his first year of taxes, and he says, "Dad, I want to show you how smart I am. Look, I've maximized my 401k contributions. I've done all this stuff to defer my taxes." And I says, "What tax bracket are you?" And he goes, "I don't know, 10 or 15. I've got kids and low income." And I said, "What tax bracket do you think you'll be in as an accountant that's going to have a successful career? What tax bracket do you think you'll be in 30 years?" He goes, "I don't know, probably 30, 40. I go, "Right." I said, "So would you rather pay taxes, get a tax deduction now at 10%, or would you rather get a tax deduction in the future where you don't pay taxes on 30 or 40%? And he goes, "Oh," the bell, is all of a sudden like bing, idea, I get it now. And that's the same thing we can do now. There's a few years that we can take money, either not overfund things that are deductible, pay taxes now, and never pay taxes later.
And retirees need this help, and let's tell them why specifically, because they may not know the answer.
Well, the main thing is the RMD age, which is required minimum distribution. When a person turns 70 and a half, and they're trying to raise that age to 72, whether it happens or not, remains to be seen. But at 70 and a half, a retiree or a person, whether retired or not, depending on the account that they have, will have to take, because of the IRS demands it, have to take distributions. Now let's just say somebody did a really good job saving and has $1 million in their 401k. They have to start taking out roughly $40,000 a year, and every year they get older, it goes up. Now, $40,000 in mandatory income, whether they need it or not, is very likely going to force them into a higher tax bracket. So it may be smart to try to divest some of that 401k money in the next few years if you're not quite 70 and a half, so that you don't have to pay taxes that high.
Well, it is hard to absorb all of this as well. But that's why people need to come and see you, the expert.
We can do a full, complete tax plan, and we have a report that'll show the tax buckets and how you can strategize those taxes and save money.
Great education. Thanks so much for being here again.
Thank you.
If you're interested in scheduling a complimentary retirement financial review to make sure that your ideal retirement plan is secure, you can visit their website, premret.com, or you can call them at 520-780-9059.